Hey, creative friend, I'm Sherry from Handmade You. And today we're going to dig into one of the hardest topics that there is when it comes to selling handmade products. And that is, drumroll please, pricing. So if you're like me and when you started, maybe you started pulling numbers out of thin air, you started asking your friends and your family, how much would you pay for this? You maybe even have gone online and looked at similar products and said, so this is the price range I'm going to price here. All in all, it's been a total guessing game, and there has not been a clear foundation on which you have used to create your pricing, right? You don't have a strategy. And so today I'm going to share a simple formula with you that I hope will give you confidence and keep your business in the green. So stay tuned. So, pricing, right? It's hard. Why is it so hard? All right. So honestly, I think it has to do with the fact that we are too close to our work. We put a lot of energy, a lot of heart, a lot of soul into the products that we make, right? They're like our children in a sense. We created these, and so we struggle because how do you assign value to something that you put so much of yourself into? There's a couple things that we fear when it comes to pricing. We don't want to be too expensive. Who do we think we are, right? That's that imposter syndrome. But on the other hand, we also don't want to be cheap. We don't want to be known for that we're trying to build. And so it's just this huge struggle in our minds, right? And so a lot of times we end up just guessing. We keep using these random pricing strategies and methods that honestly, it leaves money on the table. We're really undercutting ourselves. And at the end of the day, we realize I sold this and I think I lost money. Has it ever happened to you? Please drop a comment if that's ever happened to you. After all is said and done, you realize that you paid them to buy your product. So here's the real. You ready for this? This is the real. You are not a hobbyist anymore. As soon as you've decided that you want to start selling your products, right? Now you're a business. And so you need to start pricing like you are a business. It doesn't matter if it's full time or if it's a side hustle. It's business, y'all. And so that means that your price needs to reflect all of your hard work, not just the cost of your materials. So let's talk about a formula that could potentially help you eliminate some of that guesswork, right? Help you create more consistency in your pricing and hopefully be more sustainable for your business overall. So this is the formula, if you will, or I could say the components that I utilize and that I teach when it comes to pricing. It is the cost of goods plus the labor plus the overhead plus your profit margin, right? That is going to give you your price. Let's walk through each of these. And when I call it a formula, I just mean it's the cost of goods plus your labor plus your overhead plus your profit margin. That's the formula. It's a simple addition. All right, let's go in and break this down a little bit. All right, so the first thing on the list is your cost of goods. These are basically everything that you need to create one product, okay? So you're talking about any raw materials that you utilize, any supplies, the packaging, labels, anything that you have to purchase to actually produce one of these products. That's your cost of goods sold. That's the COGS. Second is your labor. So this is your time. You should set an hourly rate that feels good for you. And you have to be honest about how long something takes you to create. So I might make a tumbler. It takes me literally, if design, right? Maybe I purchased a design or something along those lines, or design is, that actually goes into your cost of goods, right? Because that is a part of producing that one item. If you spent time actually designing it, the amount of time it took you to design should be a part of your labor. But you got to think about it. If it's something that you're making a ton of and it took you an hour to create, then you're dividing that hour up. So let me back up because I want to make sure this is clear. If you are charging $5 an hour and something takes you an hour to create, then it would be $25. That's how much your labor fee would be. But if you're planning to use that same design on 100 products, well, now we can take the $25 and divide it by 100. Math is not my forte, but I also have to think about how long does it take me to take the tumbler, wrap the tumbler in my design, press the tumbler, right? So all in all, that might be another 15 minutes, right? Get your calculator back out. So 15 minutes would be, that's a quarter of an hour, right? 15, that's 25% of an hour. So you take that $25 and divide it by 4, right? So $6.25. So that's what you're going to add in for your labor. The $6.25 plus that charging for your labor, $6.50. So it's your cost of goods, whatever is overhead. So when you think of overhead, think about what are some of the equipment and some of the softwares and different things that I utilize on a daily basis to run my business, but they are not necessarily specific to the product, right? So you want to add those things up and figure out how much to your products to account for this overhead. If y'all want me to make a separate video on calculating your labor or calculating your overhead, please let me know in the comments and I'll start working on that. I think overhead's pretty clear. I think. So next is your profit margin. So your profit margin is not, so this is everything that's left over after I buy all my materials. No. See, we had to start from the beginning and we actually got to build that in. So it's something that is planned. It's something that we have incorporated because we want our business to grow and be sustainable. And so every item that you create, you should be making a profit on that. So this is above and beyond your product cost and your labor, right? Is above and beyond that. Let's look at an example. Let's run an example, right? So let's say that we want to make a candle and the materials for everything to make this candle come to $5. We spend 30 minutes making this candle and our labor cost is $20 per hour. So that is going to be $10. We have calculated that for our overhead, we're going to add $2 per candle for overhead. So that is all right, total of $17. Now, that is before profit. So let's go ahead and add a 40% profit margin. So when you grab your calculator and you type in $17 times 0.4, it's going to give you 6.8. So $6.80 is the profit. So we're going to add $6.80 to that 17. When we do that, that's what I'm talking about. It's going to give us $23.80, but we are going to round that up to an even $24. And boom, you're paying yourself, you're covering your expenses, and you're building a profit into your price. So let's talk a little bit more about profit margin. As a new business, a lot of times people are like, oh, you should just aim for 20, 30%. But I'm here to tell you, first of all, let's get 20% out of our vocabulary. We need to be aiming for a minimum of 30%. And I strongly encourage you, for your business to grow, that you aim for the 40, 50%. So by having a higher profit margin, it gives you flexibility and allows you to run sales, cover surprise costs, and still stay profitable, right? A lot of people are like, oh, you just being greedy. Oh, no, this is not being greedy. This is called growth. So this is called being a smart, sustainable business owner. So looking at this chart, you could just see that 30%, that's really the minimum for business stability, a minimum. And then 40% is definitely for sustainable growth and strong business health, while 50% is, I would actually say 50% and above, is giving you premium positioning and definitely maximizing that growth potential. So y'all hear people say, what we are not going to do is, okay, so that's what this slide is. This slide is so this is what we're not going to do. So we are no longer going to be copying prices that we see online on Etsy, right? We don't know what they put into their product. We don't know what materials they use. We don't know where they source them from. We don't know how long it took them. We don't know if they got children working on these. And there's just too many factors that we don't know, right? And so copying those prices is not going to translate well. They could be undercharging. You never know, right? Number two, what we're not going to do is price by vibes. I'm a feelings person. I feel like, but not, no longer when it comes to my pricing. It's just not consistent and reliable business strategy. Undervaluing our time. Now, you get to set your own hourly. You do. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you're charging less than $15 an hour, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. I'm not here to judge you, but like if you want to make less than $15 an hour, there's plenty of places, especially I'm in Pennsylvania, minimum wage is at $7 and some change. There's plenty of places that you can go, but why did you start your own business? Think about that. Why did you start your own business? So do you really just want to make $7 and some change per hour when you set the rules? I don't know. I'm just saying that make sure that you are valuing your time and pick a rate that is according to your expertise, your speed, how quickly you can get things done, and your experience. And then the last thing that we're not going to do is price based around fear. If somebody has a similar product and theirs is priced lower than yours, you do not drop your price to be lower than theirs. Because what they're going to do is they're going to come back and they're going to see your product and they're going to, oh no, we need to drop our price. And they're going to drop your price. And the next thing you're just battling it out. And it's a race to see who can get to the lowest price quickest. And guess what? You're going to lose money. You're going to lose time. You're going to lose resources. And people are out there, they're going to see your price and they're going to say, oh, so I was thinking for something a little bit more quality. So I'm gonna go with something that's a little higher priced. What? I know it's crazy, but that is how people think. People don't want the lowest price and they don't want the highest price. They want somewhere right in the middle. And so that's something that you got to really think about. All right, so here is a quick recap of this presentation. Number one, I want you to know your numbers. You need to track all of your costs with precision and make sure that they are realistic. Don't inflate your numbers because this is how you get your cost of goods, right? Make sure that you include your labor and your overhead and you price your labor accordingly. You want to add in a nice cushiony profit because that profit is what goes back into your business to help your business grow, right? Let's say you work with a Cricut. I love a good Cricut. I love a cutting machine. But if that's the main piece of equipment in your business and you're using it on a daily basis, at some point, you're going to either need to upgrade to a new Cricut or you're going to want to add additional Cricut so that it reduces the time that it takes to you to complete projects. Either way, buying new equipment, that is what that profit is for. You see? So that profit in your business, then you got a business bank account with the profit sitting in there. You got a business budget, and you have money that you can use to buy the equipment and the things that you need from your business without going into your personal funds. Oh, this is a real business. And then round up your numbers so that they look nice, clean, and professional. I always encourage people not to round down, but to round up. So if I was to give you an action item to take away from this video, it would be to choose one of your products, something that you make regularly, something that you're good at, list all the associated costs, be very thorough. In addition to that, make sure that how long in total it takes you to make that particular item, right? So I gave the tumbler example. So we're talking about your design time plus the time it costs to create plus your packaging time. All of that. Add that all up. Incorporate everything into the formula that I shared. Make sure you calculate your profit margin and all of that stuff. And then if this helped you in any way, please drop a comment and let us know if there was something from this video that was an aha moment for you. We would really appreciate hearing that.